Hello, everybody. I am not on deck. We had a little technical difficulty, but hey, we're going to roll with it. So, welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Malloy, and joining me tonight, we have an all-star cast tonight, and we've got Odaris, we've got George from Fin Faithful Podcast, and we got El Capitan from Finn's Tailgate. So they'll be joining me tonight on the show. We got a really good show tonight, really good discussion. And I welcome everybody that's in the show tonight. I see Anthony's in there, the Backup Bench podcast. JB is in there. Michael's in there. Appreciate all you guys for joining tonight. Make sure everyone hits that like button. Okay, make sure you hit that like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, whatever platform that you're watching from, come over here to YouTube. If you're in the YouTube platform over here, hit that little bell down there and subscribe, share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. Let everybody know about the show. Guys, welcome to the panel tonight. I appreciate it. Meeting of the Minds. First off, I want to introduce Odaris. How you doing, brother?
Doing real good.
Good. I appreciate you. Yep, I appreciate you for joining tonight. I've been trying to get you on for quite some time. We finally, made contact and everything, so I appreciate you for joining. Can you give a little background about yourself real quick before we get started?
Absolutely. For all my Florida fans, you guys probably already know, I played for Mario Cristobal, FIU, with his first coaching job. Matter of fact, we won the very first bowl game in FIU history back in 2010, so very proud of that, my senior year. Played for North Miami, but to this day, I was supposed to be playing at Central, so Miami Central. I rep them. Matter of fact, when I became a teacher, I taught at Miami Central Senior High School. I didn't get a tryout for NFL teams. I think there's a little confusion there, but I did get a lot of communication. I know you guys probably know I had a scout come and phone calls. Mainly the Detroit Lions are the ones who paid a lot of attention. The only offer I did get was from an arena team, which was the Montana Outlaws. I don't even know if they still exist anymore, but Montana Outlaws. And I decided not to go. Didn't pay a lot, and I was getting a lot of little dings and dunks, and I didn't want to go all the way to Montana, leave my family for $40,000. So it wasn't nothing. Pioneer, yes sir. Home dog salute. Oh,
George, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. We got a busy week on the Fins Faithful podcast. This is going to be my start of my 3 shows in a row. Tomorrow we got Doug Leon. We're going to do a live mock draft, and then Thursday we got we're breaking down the wide receiver prospects on the on season with myself and Jason Sarney. So happy to make time for you, Steve. Always love your show, and you've been on my show a few times. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And we got El Capitan. How you doing, brother?
I'm hanging out, dude. Having a good time. Having a good time. It's off season, so we know the landscape. It's the longest free agency of all time, it feels like. But I think we're Dolphins fans by and large, up and down. So we pretty well calloused to feeling one way or the other and stuff like that. So, but hey, I'm here for fun, as you guys know. So let's get it on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And man, you guys at the Finn's Tailgate. I watched your last podcast with Ali. And
last night.
Yeah, with the Alex Jones impression.
Bro,
that was awesome. That was awesome.
Listen, that is coming. We are definitely going to make a whole other segment for one of the guests, Joe Rist. You might see him pop up in here. He said we're gonna call it Finfo Wars instead of Info Wars for Alex Jones. Gonna call it Finfo Wars. It's gonna be complete drawing of the thinnest of strings for conspiracy of the. And I like a good conspiracy. So I would say if for anyone that doesn't know, and OD, you might be this us first time. We'll bring you a lot of facts and a lot of the stuff, but it's creative entertainment at the forefront. It's creative entertainment at the forefront, and so it's fun. We have a good time.
For sure. Again, thank you guys for joining tonight, and let's all remember, we may be all Dolphins. We may not agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we can agree on. We are all Dolphin fans. So just keep that in mind when we're having the discussions tonight. We all want the best for this Miami Dolphins football team. All right, I'm going to start with Odaris. Odaris, we have been going back and forth, and then you were on the Ace Per Head show with Curtis over there, and I was on there the previous evening, I think it was, or no, I was on there, and you made a comment. Well, I was talking about Tua Tagovailoa going through his progressions and things like that. And then I think in the comments you mentioned something of the nature of, well, he's not going through progressions because this offense isn't based. It's not a progression offense for the quarterback. And you said that it was an alert read. So I kind of got curious. I'm like, what does he mean by alert read? And then lo and behold, you were on the show a couple shows after my appearance. And then I fully got the understanding of what you meant, and it all made sense. It all came together. So would you please articulate what the alert read offense is? Because this is what the Miami Dolphins offense is based on, what they play. And not only the Miami Dolphins, but other teams. I think Kansas City uses it a lot with Mahomes and others. But go ahead and articulate that for us, Odaris.
So the alert system has been around before I was born. Like Dan Marino did it. Like real talk. Just remember the fake spike and you throw it up. That's exactly what the alert read is. It's basically saying we're gonna call a certain play. You have a concept side, like say 3-by-1, 3 receivers on one side, 1 receiver on the other side. Usually your X receiver, your special receiver, the guy who beat 1-on-1 no matter what. The Jets, when Hill was hurt and DJ Reader got beat deep on that deep post route, and they said it was a great route by Waddle, that was an alert throw. So what happens is you call a certain concept on one side, maybe flood. You're high, medium, low. That's a very good concept to beat almost any zone coverage. Harder to beat man, and it's harder to beat cover 2 if you got a really good cover 2 corner. But you can probably beat it if you got good spacing, good routes. However, you say you and man, single high, or cover 6, which would be great against it. But that one receiver, you're like, wait a second, it's one single high safety, right? That safety's leaning towards the 3 receiver side because that's where most of the receiving threat is. I got a DB against my Tyreek Hill who is going to outrun him. I'm set, go. You check the safety, see what he does. Safety's going. If you're doing his job, he's going to come off the hash a little bit and go towards the 3 receiver side because that's the passing threat. And then I'm just throwing the ball up and saying, hey, that's my alert. Alert, alert, alert. I caught him slipping. I caught him in a bad coverage. Let's take advantage of it. And you see in 2022 and 2023, oh my God, those killing teams with it. Like when I looked at it, I'm like, this is like, y'all don't see this? Stop. Single high. Stop playing man. Stop pressing. Like, what are you doing? But I understand why when I watched more, teams decided to press them, because if you don't slow them down, you can't do nothing. And they was running the ball well too. So the alert system, and you can have multiple alerts. You can have an alert within that 3 receiver side. Maybe that they do a lot of dagger. Like, so dagger is when you have one of the receivers run, usually your inside receiver, that number 3 closest to the line of scrimmage, probably even a tight end, run straight up the field or run a corner route, and then you have something come underneath, and usually we hit that underneath route. That's the concept. You're reading it. However, say you read that first alert, but they look like cover 3. They go out to too high. You can't throw it over top because you got somebody who's capping that deep receiver. However, if you have a corner route, you can probably throw that corner route because he got to get off the hash and run all the way to the sideline. And if that dude already beat him, that's your second alert. Like, oh, he beat him off the line. I can go ahead and hit him with the corner route. Tyreek Hill was killing people with that too in 2023. And so this offense had a whole bunch of alert concepts, like a concept side, alert side, and it was just killing teams. And that's really good when no one has film on you because they don't know what the alert is. But when you start to get film and you start, okay, they tend to go in this formation, they tend to throw an alert. Well, we got to be on alert for that. Let's go. That's why you see so many too high, 4 high, cover 4. You have cover 6, but instead of having the cover 2 side to the 3 receiver side, you put it to 1 receiver side. You jam them, throw a safety over top, and now like, oh damn, I can't even throw that because I got a safety over top of that now.
So is Mike McDaniel, when he's calling the plays, is he giving Tua options, on either side of the field or one side of the field? And is the play already predetermined before he gets up to the line of scrimmage?
So if you're looking at this offense, and when I watched a lot of film on Tua in college, a lot of film on him now, just so I can be informed and know what I'm talking about. And so a lot of it looks predetermined, but he is going through reads, but it's like a shortcut. Like, you know how you use, I teach math to like third graders and fifth graders. So instead of having them go through the whole process of multiplication, it's 5 times 6 times 20. Like, instead you're just using the tens to skip through it and go a little bit more quickly. So in this particular situation, like this alert concept side is like, okay, it literally cuts the field in half sometimes, or limits the amount of reads, so you don't have to do a full read. Not saying he can't do it because he's done it plenty of times, but it makes it easier. If I can go faster, get a defense out of position, I'm going to take advantage of that. And people who block in front of him make you got to do certain things a little bit differently, all right? So this is something that's why I love Mike McDaniel as a play designer, but I have other issues with him. As a play designer, I think he's like a young Andy Reid. I think he's really that good, like creating plays. But other things, we'll talk about that as we go through. But with that particular situation, it limits what you can do from an offensive standpoint, especially if you're not audibly. It's like the play has an audible inside of it. It's like, I'm going to go to this concept side. Oh, snap. They in this coverage? Oh, I'm about to kill them with the alert. So I'm audibly without having to call it. I don't have to say alert, alert, alert. It's, oh, Tyreek, you see that? Okay, cool. Okay, we don't have to check. No talking. Boom, set, go. Safety confirm. I know exactly what you're doing. Boom, I got him over top. When I was on Ace Per Head, you guys go back, look at that episode. There was a play, a great example against the Arizona Cardinals where they was in press man. Tyreek Hill destroyed him, and they had single high safety. The safety don't even go to the three receiver side, because Tyreek Hill is just fast. He threw the ball. He went and said, go, look at the safety. Safety's like, oh, he's looking at me. So hold him for a second. But then he just got off and tried to run to the sideline, but it was too late. Bombed them, scored like a 46-yard touchdown. It was over. And he did that against the Panthers, the Giants. He did it to the Bills. He did it to the Eagles in that game where Tyreek Hill dropped the touchdown. That probably would have been like the thing that helped us win that game. That was an alert too. That wasn't even a read. It was an alert on the three receiver side because he had Waddle on the other side. He looked at Waddle, wasn't there, came back. He's like, oh, the safety's not making it. Boom, got him. And so it's not even, he's not going through, it's not like, oh, okay, the end's not open. The post is not open. It's like, oh, single safety moves over here. Oh, that means they got to be in cover 2. They got to be in man 2 because you can read half the side of the field most of the time. And then it's mirrored on the other side. So I'm like, I already know what's on the other side. Boom, I got Tyreek Hill. I'm throwing it sometimes. I was listening to a podcast that was great. They were saying that Goff, Baker Mayfield, Tua, those type of quarterbacks are akin. He called them the students. They're like the Google generation, where they have cheat sheets because the scheme allows them to be able to do things like they're reading the field like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees, but they're not reading through everything. The scheme kind of makes it easier for them. And unfortunately, I love Tua, but that's absolutely true in this particular scheme. It's a cheat sheet that says, hey, if they're in this particular coverage and we have this particular call, man, this is open, throw it. And sometimes he gets caught. That's why you get them really ugly interceptions because they be out of position. They don't run the right thing, or you might have a robber in the middle of the field. They trick them. Then you think you thought you saw something pre-snap, and it's something different.
Gotcha. Interesting. And so in this system, a guy like, for instance, a guy that we just acquired, Westbrook, the big wide receiver, will he fit into this scheme perfectly? Is this a good fit for him because he's a big body guy?
Yeah, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that was the question. Basically, will he fit perfectly in this scheme? A big guy like that, and because we got these small receivers, right? You got Waddle, small receiver. You got Malik Washington, small receiver, and then we know Tyreek Hill. So would a big body receiver like Nick Westbrook, would he fit in this scheme really well? Is what I'm saying.
The thing that I actually think the Miami Dolphins are going to do is they're going to try to be more progression based. I think they still gonna have their alert. They're still gonna keep teams honest. but a receiver like Akine is probably not going to win early in the downs, right? So he's going to be more on the concept side, playing in the slot, kind of doing what Jono did a little bit, right? And so but this gives you an opportunity, somebody who can win late in the down. You got to need an O-line to protect for you for that. And then he can also win in short underneath. I think that's really what they're trying to do, because defenses are like, hey, we got to make sure we don't get beat over top. A lot of times you see Jono sit over top, you have a deep end, and then the defense is like, we're not giving you that deep end, and you just throw the little 5-yard hitch, 5-yard dig, not even dig, they curl in the middle of the field, and then Jono breaks 2 tackles, it's 12-yard gain, first down. And I think Akine is a similar player that gives you other options, probably deep out flats, those type of things. That's what they did a lot with A-Chain. This is why A-Chain had so many receptions. Giving them opportunities to get the ball to your playmakers in space to win with their playmaking ability. I think that's something that they're going to be moving towards.
I think just for mismatch concepts too, the guy's going to have some things. Look, I like that you referred to it properly with the dagger. That's what they're running a lot. A lot of people got a different names. They're always changing the terminology for things that were made so long ago. So it's funny, but you did mention something, and I don't want to pull it in a different direction a little bit, but you did mention something about, what you thought about Mike McDaniel. And I wonder if you're seeing what I'm seeing, that he's given up on his personnel packages too fast in his alignments. I think he's like, oh, it's not working, so he's interchanging it too much rather than just, okay, let's continue to flesh this out. I see him hitting the reset button, which in case with rhythm, and this offense is all about rhythm, then the rhythm, it's almost like he's trying to jolt the tune, and it keeps off key. And I think he gets caught slipping in that way. I'm wondering if just with an addition to bring it back to the guy we just got, Westbrook, that, maybe I hope it's a good thing. I hope he's looking at it in the positives to use the mismatch to catch him, coming underneath on a shallow route to sit down underneath when guys are playing, too high shell with all that zone now that they're doing to keep everything out in front of them, where he could come in that second part of the progression of the play. And maybe if Tua can actually get his act together when read one's gone and the pre-read didn't have your hot route or anything like that, this guy's going to sit and you're going to look for him, because I feel like he gets happy feet sometimes and he starts trying to find guys rather than looking to where someone was supposed to be. I just worry that I don't want to see this guy, this Westbrook guy, come in as the new thing where Mike McDaniel tries to find a spark to reignite a series of personnel package against whomever they're going against.
Oh, he's definitely does that. That's what he does.
It's exactly what he's going to do, isn't he? It's exactly what he's going to do.
He does it every year. I mean, he did it with A-Chain this year. Which
he did.
Word.
And he did it. He did it with Jonnu this year. Jonnu was that this year. And I'm not saying it isn't a good thing, but like playing with the new toy isn't the idea of it. It's to integrate it.
Oh, Cap and OD, I want to make a point. I think you said it best, OD. Play designer, not necessarily play caller. I think that's where the difference is. And I think what I wanted him to do this offseason is he's not going to change his speed pack. That's who he is. He's too stubborn. But like, let's bring a group of guys in to have a little bit of a change up in personnel for certain packages, right? And I don't think they've done enough of that in the power game, the running back, the offensive guard, the line. I mean, NWI, the receiver, I agree with you. He's more of a Jonnu Smith type 2 for the underneath stuff. He's not a quick hit guy who's going to get open like a Waddle or an A-Chain or a Hill. So that's part of maybe, but do you agree they should have done a little bit more to maybe not change the whole offense, but they need sort of a change up because they've countered and they didn't bring in. Yeah, but I mean, you could have done something. If you want players, you can make it happen in this league. Like you can. I think they, Cap, knows what I feel about Greer, and I got news for you, Cap. Greer ain't going nowhere, bro.
Told you, baby. He ain't going nowhere, baby.
No, he knows where the bodies are buried.
It's not that. It's the collective. It's the cabal. They ain't going nowhere.
He's not going nowhere. And you could see by his actions. I wanted to see, not to change subjects, but what does a desperate Chris Greer look like? It wasn't a desperate Chris Greer. This is a Chris Greer that is not afraid of losing his job.
Bro, he's got ice water in his veins.
Yeah, dude. I know we're going to talk about the draft and stuff, but they basically have 7 or 8 needs and soften the potency of some of them. But like they're going to the draft that if they don't take a defensive tackle, unless they got something else up their sleeve, I don't know what they're doing, you know?
Oh, it's going to be defensive tackle.
Yeah, it's going to be probably Kenneth Grant, who I'm a big fan of.
I'm praying for Will Johnson. Give me Will Johnson.
I look, we do, OD, you're not familiar with our show. We do, me and Jason Sarni, another Dolphin content creator, we have Scott, we break down, we broke down over 120 players already. And we're working on the receivers this week. I love Will Johnson. He's your boundary, shut down one half of the field kind of guy. I just think, man, they're going defensive line, and I think there's a good chance Will Johnson's there.
Listen, he loves corners.
He does.
It could happen.
You know who he loves even more? A safe safety. His name is Malachi Starts.
No, that ain't happening.
No, it ain't happening.
Right,
it ain't happening. But if you put True Serum in him, he's the guy he really wants. That's a Chris Greer. Come on, Cap. That's a Chris Greer guy. No, yes or no?
I think the fact that you think it's a Chris Greer guy is the exact reason why you wouldn't do it. No. Chris Greer's like, it's too easy of a tell. Chris Greer's a poker player, dog. He's a poker player.
Not a good one.
I don't know.
Here. I've got something. I got something a different take than you all about the draft. Okay, and I'm gonna make this point because Odaris, you actually brought it up on one of Ace Perhead's podcasts. And you had a friend that played linebacker, and you were saying that
yes,
you were talking about Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, that he feels that they're done, because of the nature of their injuries. And if that's the case, if they are done, and if the Dolphins are thinking that way, wait a minute, we got Jalen Phillips been hurt 2 years in a row, and we've got we've got Bradley Chubb. He has an injury history. And you know how Mike McDaniel likes his edge rushers. He said he'd get an edge rusher in every draft. And right now, Chop Robinson is good. I don't think he's an every down back, in my opinion. I think he's a rotational player. He could be developed into that, but not right now. So, it's a long shot, but they may go for an edge.
Steve, let me jump in real quick.
They may go for an edge.
Obviously, we know they went for Bosa, right? I know for a fact they were going after Ojulari. They wanted Ojulari. Yeah. And I had Ben Albright on my show, like right of the first day of free agency. And he told me, and you guys know, I don't know if you know Ben, he's connected as anybody in the league. And he told me that, like, front seven is where this defense's focus was on. So they might not go corner. They wanted to fix the front seven. That's the difference in philosophy from Fangio to Weaver, that the front seven, they wanted to fix it. I was surprised with that. So, like, I agree. A Shamar Stewart at 13 could raise some eyebrows, but, like, I don't know about you, Cap. You down with the DN, bro, or what?
They're going D tackle, boys. They're going D tackle. I'm telling everybody.
I agree with you, Cap. I agree.
I do like the idea of having 4 pass rushers on the D line just to see what's going on. Why not? We're just going to go full speed crazy.
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
why not?
But here's the deal. That's a big question mark for us. We may not have 4, edge rushers. We may only have 2. Chop Robinson or Quentin Bell or Mo Kamara or whatever, one of those, right? That's why I think they might go edge. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd be surprised with it.
So if this is a big if Jalen Phillips and Chubb come back to about 89, because remember before Chubb got hurt, he was really playing like almost at an all-pro level. He was definitely a Pro Bowl level. Like he was.
Yeah, he was.
Well. And Jalen Phillips was coming on too. And I'm like, if they could come back just to some of that and I think I love Chubb when coming out. I just thought he was raw but he played so much better towards the end of the season. He saw more double teams than any other player on our team, and he was a rookie. So
thoroughly impressed by that kid. I thought too. Amazing. Go ahead.
He might not be the greatest against the run, but he was still a menace. He was like, that one little kid who plays in football, but he's taking on 2 people and he just fighting. He was trying, and he was putting in enough work to make the defense to not be a liability. My thing to add to that all, if Chubb and Phillips can come back and just be a rotational pass rusher that's effective, and Chubb can be a rotational, not Chubb, but Chop can be a rotational pass rusher that's effective, and Sealer can be that cornerstone player, and we could draft a D tackle that has some pass rushing ability. We have 5 guys who come after the quarterback at any time. And it's akin to what the Giants did to the Patriots back in the Super Bowls. If you can get after the quarterback, your DBs can be they can be that's how this defense will be effective. If they get after the quarterback, they can stop the run because they are penetrating the defense. If they can destroy other teams' offensive line, like we will get our behind destroyed, they're going to win a lot of games. It don't even matter if the offensive line is not that good. The defense is going to rifle a lot of offenses, like they did against the Rams.
I feel like Weaver too is going to get stupid with these friggin' with these inside linebackers with dialing things up. He seems to be really. I don't want to say he held back, but I think there's so much more in-depth type of play calling we're going to get from him now that he's got another year, now that he's tailoring. I know it's not expensive, right? But he is handpicking all of this stuff. And I think they're going to give him this handpicked first-round pick for somebody on the line. I'm thinking D-tackle all day, but if it went pass rusher, listen, that's never a bad investment. Pass rushers are expensive. I keep this guy for 5 years on good money. It's always a good investment. That's why when they took Chop Robinson, I thought they were going to take D-tackle last year, which is why I'm guaranteeing they take it this year because they didn't. I also agree with you. I think if you just have anything, if you can count a full season of production out of both of those players in Phillips and Chubb and say, I'm going to have like put them together and the production equals one guy, that's going to be damn good. And that's in rotation. That's going to be just fine with me for what I think Weaver's going to be able to pull off with this defense.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too with Chop is, remember, he does one thing really well, like at an elite level. There's still other parts of his game that need work to be a consistent, every down player. So like adding another guy like a Shamar Stewart, who's 270 pounds, plays the run well, and is a physical freak of an athlete. It's a different look there. If your future is Chop and let's say Shamar Stewart on one side, because how long is Chubb going to be here? Like Chubb is a guy who plays well in stretches, always hurt, and then but when he's healthy, he disappears for 4 games, turns it on for 4 games. That's the type of player he is, and that was the type of player he was at Denver throughout his career. He's either injured or half of the season balling, the other half doesn't show up. So that's kind of what we've seen here in Miami.
That's like every pass rusher. Look at Micah Parsons.
True.
Yeah, Micah Parsons. Yeah, for sure. And since we're talking about defense and we're on that subject, and so let me just I was sent this in a DM, and it's explaining basically what the how the NFL defenses have evolved over the last, say, 7-8 years or so. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Just bear with me, and then after I read it and everything, then we can talk about how these free agents that we acquired can play that into that role or the draft, or what we should be looking for in the draft. All right, so in 2015, the NFL passing peaked. They combined for over 400. NFL teams combined for over 480 yards per game. Today, it's at a 30-year low. A 30-year low. Not from lack of quarterback talent, but from the shift in defensive strategy, which has torched the deep ball. The data is kind of crazy. All right. NFL passing yards per game have plummeted to just 403 in 2024. That's the lowest since 1993. The biggest change, and this is right up your alley, Odaris, the biggest change has been in coverages. 2 high safety looks jumped. Get this. Now, we all know 2 high safety's been around a long time, right? I mean, come on. But it says here in the article, 2 high safety looks jumped from 44% of passing downs in 2019 to 63% in 2024. So instead of keeping one safety deep, defenses now, as you went over, Odaris, defenses now split two safeties 10 to 15 yards off the line. So basically what that's done, it's made throwing the long ball brutal for quarterbacks. All right. Deep passing attempts, 20 yards or more, have plunged. 10.2 attempts per game in 2019 to only 7.7 attempts in 2024. That's a 24.5% decrease in just 5 years. All right. So they gave an example of some of the league's best deep ball throwers. I'm going to use one example, and this is the one they used. In 2019, Patrick Mahomes led the league, of course, 51% success rate on deep throws. His EPA, which is expected points added per 100 plays, was 125. Fast forward to 2024, Russell Wilson led all quarterbacks in deep passing with 49% success rate. But his EPA per 100 plays was just 87. That's a 30.4% drop in efficiency from Mahomes at the top of 2019. Also, now Mahomes is dead last. He's dead last with EPA per 100 plays. Get this. Negative 19.78. Negative. So, also they stated that linebackers sit 4 to 6 yards off the line. Hybrid defensive backs lurk in intermediate zones. And then, of course, your two safeties will be patrolling the deep, right? What this creates is a defensive web that's changed everything in the NFL so far. So now you got like a web, right? So no intermediate, not a lot of long balls, not a lot in the intermediate in the middle of the field, right? Air yards per attempt have dropped 7.7 yards, lowest in over a decade. Almost a full yard less than 2019. So basically, what this accounts is that quarterbacks are forced to throw underneath, taking what the defense gives them. Now we know why Tua is throwing a lot of the underneath passes. He's taking what the defense gives him, allows him. So this creates a crucial choice for offenses, right? Puts them in a bind. So now what are they going to do, right? So what they do is they take the easy underneath throws and methodically move downfield. Or they force it deep and risk turnovers. Right? So they're choosing going underneath, taking the easy route, going methodically down the field, and then defenses are hoping, oh man, maybe they'll throw an interception, maybe they'll get a fumble to make a mistake, right? So NFL offenses can't just rely on arm talent anymore. What it's all about now is pre-snap recognition. Alert read. Pre-snap recognition, quick decision-making, yards after the catch, and red zone efficiency. So understanding these defensive shifts isn't just for fun. Okay? It says it's the key to predicting game outcomes and player performance and all that kind of stuff. So basically it's saying also, because when you know what defenses are doing, you have to be able to anticipate, right? You got to recognize how they're playing, what they're doing. So which quarterbacks will struggle? Which receivers will thrive? where the value lies. What's your comments on that? I'll start with you, Capitan.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Mute.
My fault. I think it's a long time coming, honestly. As we know, everything is ever changing. What's the? I'll start with this. What's the 2 highest paid positions on defense? Pass rushers,
pass
deniers. That's
and
it.
Cornerbacks
And corners. So, because inherently it's to stop the pass. Everyone for decades now has gotten smaller and faster. Well, now with the game being as such 7-on-7s, just flag football, year-round football, everything is around this speed, this dynamicness. When I was growing up, kids wanted to be a running back. Kids now want to play wide receiver.
That's what I played, running back.
I played a little fullback and middle linebacker. That's it's the times changed, and now regression to the meme is where we find ourselves, because teams are now adjusting, and that's why you see the Philadelphia Eagles with their just mean physical style in the trench be able to bully you around football, beating up, and we're going to see a little bit of that kind of change. I do think that we won't get overwhelming. Like, the passing is always going to be part of the game because the rules are stretched and skewed in such a way. But that's why we're seeing this regression from these numbers. That's why we're seeing, teams play too high shell all day. And I mean, even like cover 4, they're sitting out there in these zones with everybody underneath, and linebackers they're sitting deep. And guess what? As soon as ball snap, they're backpedaling, because they're now the centerpiece guy, because those safeties have split to the hashes and are waiting to come forward. It's crazy to think you're going to ask an inside linebacker to play the center of the field. But look what the Dolphins were doing last year with their linebackers. They do it too. Everybody does it now because you have to. So what does that do? That means up in the trench, if you got a guy that can run and break a tackle or two, I'm killing you. So that's what we'll see as things come back. And then it's balanced football, baby. It's balanced football. I love it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll jump in here. I agree with Cap. I'll kind of bounce off, piggyback on what you said. I think it's now like you said, now we shifted to over covering the passing game. Now we're going back to the running backs, the Derrick Henry, the Saquon Barkley year last year. It'll all switch back and kind of, like you said, Cap, balance itself out. But let's bring it home here. That's what the problem was. If you're playing cover 4 defense and your linebacker's taking off and you can't run the ball, that's why the offenses struggle. With Tua, without Tua, if they couldn't run the ball against that defense, if Philadelphia couldn't run the ball against that defense, they'd struggle as well. That's the difference. The offensive line, the power running game, and I think the 2 solutions, running the football, a lot of mesh routes, you agree, OD, a lot of combination of underneath and deep routes, help kind of confuse that cover to whatever you want to call it, quarters, the web, shell, whatever, there's 20 terms out there for each thing nowadays, like Cap said. But yeah, you're seeing the running back come alive again, and that's why you'll probably see Genty. He's probably going to go 6 to Oakland, and I got news for you. You could see Amari and Hampton.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, I think you could see Mario Hampton go in the top 15, top 18 too.
I don't know if this is a deep running back draft, baby. There's a lot of guys, a lot of value up and down.
But Genty's
going in the first.
Is unreal.
Genty's going in the first just because there's other things there too. You're going to get a good football player, but the marketability and all the other things that has to do with the sport and the game, that's why he's going to go first. No, I'm not saying he won't be great, but
I just look at it as somebody
who go that high.
Yeah, I think he could, and I look at it as somebody who watches. I know, Cap, you do your homework too in OD, but like if you watch the contact balance, it's rare. It's not you don't see that often.
Yeah, he got flamingo feet. He can put that 1 foot underneath him. I get it. He don't fall down. I got you.
Would you do?
Maybe some team is.
Would you do flamingo at 13?
Would I do?
Fix the line first.
No, I ain't doing it.
Yeah. OD, would you do it?
No, absolutely not. Okay. Because I think the run game is a product of the offensive line.
I wouldn't do it either. I wouldn't do it either. That makes it clean sweep.
Yeah. This outside zone scheme, I loved it when it first came, but I'm
getting tired of it, man.
Yeah, I'm not from the 90s. I like it because it was new to me. I never ran outside zone scheme. I've heard of it. It was
It's
better.
hard on the offensive line, OD. It's hard on those big
They're not
boys.
changing though, man. That's
I gotta
the thing.
have my 300-pounders sprinting all game.
When
That's
they used to be
crazy.
able to chop that backside.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's when it was killing people, but they took that out of the game. So you can't chop that backside, contain player.
That's true.
But these are cut back, have it open. Because think about Liam Eichenberg. How many times have we had a linebacker try to cut back? I mean, a running back, 18 try to cut back, and Eichenberg or Robert Jones can't maintain that. They can't reach block that 3 technique, or even get to the 1 when you get help from Brewer, and so he come make the play, or he bumps them, and then if you could chop him and knock him to the ground, you know the gap.
Yeah.
This is one-on-one backer, and I'm not a huge fan of Achane, but Achane showed me a lot this past year where he has some good contact balance as well. I think if you get the run game going, and you have to, they playing nickel and dime against you, and you're supposed to
Just
run.
like in man, they're daring you to throw. In zone, they're daring you to run.
and you can't run it.
I'm going to show zone all day. You got to run on them.
Too high.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of line, but some of it's the backs here. Some of it's the running backs in Miami.
Some of it is vision. Some of them are in the whole correction too.
And I love Achane. but I think Mostert was their best back, and they didn't play him last year.
He was hurt.
Yeah.
He was hurt.
You agree? I think Mostert was the best back in this system.
And he got hurt, but I like Mostert, but let's not act like it didn't take him a while to get it figured out too.
Yeah, I know, but
you know what I'm saying?
They didn't play their best guy, is what I'm saying. When he was healthy.
Because
they got more problems than that, man. They got
really good, and he'll fumble.
Yeah.
We lost 2 games because of him fumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Alec Ingle fumbled on us too. What the heck is going on? Why?
I know.
How get me on it?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So, and I agree with all of you. And I think the solution is what you're saying, and it is the run game. And here's the deal. What we were doing last year, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, when he's throwing them short passes and screen passes and stuff, that's the same as the running game." No, it's not.
It's not the same.
No, it's not. No,
They
it's
supplement the run. I hate when people say that.
The defense is not backing up because of that. They're not coming in because of that.
They're not.
Take it.
To hell with all that. It's what the offensive linemen have to do. You can't. They get too far upfield. It's.
You know what it is? It's time. Because as a defensive back, I'm in zone. I'm reading the line of scrimmage. I'm looking at the line. They pass it. I get back into my coverage. They throw the ball. It takes half a second longer for that ball to go from my hand to the person. I'm breaking. I got 3 people already breaking on the ball, and now you lost time. If you ever see the biggest runs, it's like a linebacker half a second late. A DN.
It's a hand that came off of them.
The foot.
Yeah.
The hand. They run through the diving
blip.
hand.
It's that blip.
And that's what it is. You can't supplement the run game with that. You have to run people off the ball where it's like, I need that extra person in the box because it's numbers. I got 5 in a fullback because I'm playing that 21 personnel. And so I got 6 versus 5. 6 on 6, I'm losing because the back I have no free hitter. Right? And that's what they're doing. But what's happening is somebody's losing. Either it's Jonnu Smith lost on a 4th down, or I think it was a 3rd and short. Julian Hill, who is a very good player, but he's always holding.
He sticks his feet and reaches. He sticks his feet and reaches.
I
want to smack his hands every time.
Like him.
But in all fairness, he did make some corrections towards the end of the year.
I like the kid. Listen, he's a UDFA. I'm not going to hate him.
No.
He's a young dude that's grinded. He's a hell of a football player. But I don't mean I got to be happy when he's sticking his feet and reaching out on a damn pass rusher that he should have set the edge and turned him inside where he's got help.
He must be doing some great stuff in camp and practice. Behind
the scenes. At the cool kids table, buddy. He sits at the cool kids table. He ain't going nowhere.
We were struggling so much in offense because Tua was hurt. You get a 12-yard, 20-yard run, and then you see yellow on the flag. You're like, oh, what was it? Hold it, Julian Hill. Damn. Okay. Next game, same thing. Okay, we doing good. Hold it, Julian Hill.
He's like Eichenberg. They can play a solid game, but there's 3 plays where it's just disaster, and that's the rest of the game they're playing okay. Like other guys' mistakes, you don't notice it as much, but like theirs, it's just like you don't. That's all you think about after the game. So that's why you kind of it paints a picture they're actually.
Well, it seemed very untimely too because it seemed like it was always rhythm breaking.
Yeah.
It was always rhythm breaking.
3rd and 7 at the 30.
Got the juice. No, I don't.
We're 3rd and 7 at the 30 opponent's 35. we get the first down, and it's a 10-yard penalty going, and then we miss the field goal. Or we go for it. No, we go for it on 4th and 1, and we don't get it. That's
I like going for it on 4th down.
What?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, O'Dearest.
I wanted to bring up one thing because I had a comment. I forget his name. Hyde from the Miami Herald.
Yeah, Dave Hyde.
Dave Hyde and that show with Omar and them, and they had a comment.
Yeah.
And everybody hated the re-signing of Eichenberg, which I understand.
Buddy, it was.
I hate him. I'm not a fan of him either. But then it made me think because people were asking for players that weren't good to come in. That's not.
They're asking for somebody else's Eichenberg, bro.
Yeah, and I'm like,
they're asking for the other team's Eichenberg.
If Eichenberg's name wasn't Liam Eichenberg, and you had that same film from another team, and you brought it in, I think people would be like happy. Oh, he could play multiple positions.
He could play from one side of the line to the other.
Yeah.
Hey guys, his name is the guy we signed from the Bears. That's his name.
Larry Borum.
Larry Borum. That's his name, bro. Larry Borum.
Larry Borum.
He's
the Eichenberg that we brought in.
We're gonna find out.
People love to hate on Eichenberg.
I think he's worse.
Yeah. So he plays swing. Is he a swing?
Is
he a
swing
tackle?
He gonna be competing for guard versus Eichenberg, and Eichenberg's winning. Telling you, Eichenberg gonna win a guard spot. Week 1, Dolphin fans, be ready because when they bring in the 3rd round offensive lineman pick, he can't beat Eichenberg either. He's been sitting at the Cool Kids Club with Tua Tagovailoa for years.
Yeah,
that's his boy.
Hey, Cap. Here's
the
thing. McDaniel's already set him up for that. He's already set him up for the part. He said in order for him to win the part, he's going to have to play the best he's ever played. So if he gets the starting position, that means, oh, wow, he's played the best he's ever played.
The best. This is Eichenberg 2.0, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? They wanted Rob Jones back, too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Guess what? Rob Jones going to be starting where he got picked up.
In Dallas? Yeah. They didn't want to pay that $4 million.
I know.
But the offensive play across the NFL is like not good. Like what you see with the Eagles is like an anomaly. It's 2 teams.
It's great.
3 teams because the Ravens.
They made a lot of really good late moves though too, man. With those additions,
it's great roster building. It's great roster. You gotta compete and have great players throughout the roster.
So I got to push back on the great roster building a little bit because you're not wrong, George. That's what I'm saying. Those guys are getting offers. They're kind of going to Philly because they see that I can get paid, start, play on a damn good team, and maybe win as well. That's that great roster kind of forms itself.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you have 2 starting players in your secondary from the draft. They let the board fall to them. They maximize the value of every pick. They don't take Austin Jackson because they're penciled in and pegged and funneled into a tackle like they have to do this year.
The Eagles did what the Niners couldn't. Okay.
Agreed.
And what they did was they were able to retool and it worked where the Niners couldn't do that. That's essentially what happened.
Yeah.
Niners went to retool, happened, still fell short.
And what did the Dolphins do? They stopped with the young players and they went old real quick.
Well, and that all I can say is this. The reason why everybody says, oh, the run game needs to be the addressed issue offensively is because the offensive part of the passing game has been thoroughly addressed from everybody who can potentially be targeted to catch a friggin' football is really good at doing it for this offense. So it's easy to say, yeah, we need a run game. So if they can't figure a run game out, then they're failures, and then we can judge them on that.
They already couldn't figure it out. That's already happened.
That wasn't the number one issue last year. You guys remember number one issue last year? We need upgrade at tight end. They did it, baby.
Because you remember 2023 at the beginning of the year, people saying, "Oh, the offensive line." I said, "I don't think the offensive line is that good," because I wasn't a fan of Austin. I think Austin Jackson is a mid-tier, low-tier guy.
I think he's an average starting right tackle.
But he's improved. He has improved.
Yeah.
He's an average to above average player.
Yeah, I agree.
But losing Robert Hunt, losing Connor Williams, and losing Wynn,
that hurt.
It ate that team alive. That interior offensive line, because they was running people off. They was blowing people off the ball.
They were killing people.
They was killing inside zone, outside zone. Man, I saw
pulling the guards and setting edges. It was incredible.
Bro, they'll pull a tackle, come the opposite side, and just throw a defensive end across the field. You saw that game against the Broncos. They was like, "Oh, Tua did amazing." No, that O-line won that game. They put up 70 because
the A-chain game. The A-chain game
broke them.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, I miss those offensive days, man. What happened?
Yeah.
They
We'll get them back.
they
Well,
are-
again,
I don't
here's-
think you're ever going to see
here-
that again.
Not
Well,
not
here's
this year.
Well, here's the thing, guys, and I tried to tell people this back when Mike McDaniel came here initially, and what they were doing with the O-line. And let's say for this, Butch Berry. Thank God that guy came in here because he actually
Yeah.
understands what they're trying to do. But in this outside zone where you're going to ask 330-pound guys to be twinkle-toed and run around so much and not grab a hold of dudes and move people like you have a lot. They want them to chip, get outside, and go and find that that linebacker downfield. They're asking them to do that a lot in this scheme. You inherently, and look at the Niners, they recognize that too. You want to maybe get a bookend, but ultimately you're trying to get 4th rounders, 5th rounders, UDFAs, because you need fresh bodies. Because those guys are gonna get rolled up on. They're gonna be worn down because you're asking these the big and uglies, for lack of a better term, to be dynamic athletes in this offensive scheme, and it's wear and tear. So if Dolphin fans are like, go buy the biggest, most expensive offensive guard, that's a bad investment. It's a bad investment. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, but again,
I'm not agreeing with the scheme or the ideology.
No,
I
agree with you.
I like it to be different, but
spending
that's what it
$18 to $20 million on a guard like this offseason to happen is
I think it's spending $10 million on a guard is rich as hell.
Well, I would have done Mekhi Becton for 10.
Need.
Yeah, I would have done it.
You would die in our scheme.
I know, but I think
He's a big man.
I was willing to take the shot with him.
Because it wouldn't last, though. It wouldn't last. Like, you would get that first half of the season, and then he'd go down to injury, and now you spent all your capital, and you can't even have Eichenberg come and take his place. Now he's gone.
Our capital's on too much at the wide receiver position and too much on injuries on the defensive end position.
But we got a quarterback that if he ain't got that, we got nothing.
So you have the most fragile and least durable quarterback in the league. You got to do what Chicago did, man. You got to go over. You got to go all in on the offensive line. I mean, all in via trade, via free. You got to put more money there. I know you say it's not possible. So what is it? What do you have faith in them drafting an offensive line?
I think they're doing it right.
That's the only thing. Like, I'm not a fan of Greer, but I got to give him respect. Remember in 2019, 2020, that entire team was butchered. They had their CB1 was Needham. The leading rusher on that team was Fitzpatrick. He rebuilt the team into every single year they won the winning team, and they created a perennial playoff team every year. Now, you want more because we spent a lot of money, put a lot into it. We got a coach that turned Tua into a borderline. To me, he's top 10, but I'll say borderline top 10. I can see that. You got a number 1 receiver. You got another one who's probably top 20. And you built a decent offensive line, even though I thought they weren't that good. But in 2023, you proved to everybody else.
By every metric, they were decent.
So that
every
team,
metric,
in your guys' opinion, that team is good enough to win in December and January, even healthy.
That team healthy?
That team healthy could win it.
That team healthy could win it.
Okay.
The only team they probably would have lost to is Kansas City, and that's exactly who they read.
Talking about yeah.
The only thing I worry about is the quarterback's ability in inclement weather and bad situations and
I don't think
that's December.
I don't even think it's just the quarterback. I think the way that the team is built is not built for cold weather. Look at the little receivers, fast, speedy receivers. They're slipping all over in the ice.
But they were so overloaded that they were so explosive. Like, the reason I say that is not because of the offense. It's because of that defense was healthy. They lost 3 pass rushers. They lost who else they lost? They lost a starting middle linebacker.
And they still held it together.
No. I agree with that point. The defense would have gave him a shot. I agree. To me, the offense still would have struggled, healthy or not. But I agree with you. The defensive injuries, I like that defense that year. I'll give you that for the end of the year with the defense. Yeah.
And then think about it. At the end of the year, you run an outside zone on people who've been running all day. If your team can do it, you are going to run people.
I'm not a fan of Chris Greer, man, and I'm not a fan of Chris Greer. And to me, it starts at the top. Personnel, you bring enough great players in the building.
Chris Greer ain't nothing, dog. He ain't nothing but the lead scout.
Right.
It ain't
I know
him
we got Garfinkel, we got Shore, we got everything, but he's the title. He has the title, so that's where my on my show. That's where the critics going because you gave him the title. So here it is, right?
So, but that's the reason why
Garfinkel has a lot to say. Brandon Shore. There's
Garfinkel, the guy that's head of marketing, Brandon Shore, that's the finance dude. They have equal say as your general manager over your team.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
There's the problem. You want to know what the problem is? There
Steve
it
Ross.
is.
Steve Ross is the problem.
There you go.
Because Steve Ross, there's a misconception that winning is everything in the NFL. It's not, brother. It's about making them. It's not.
Miami Dolphins haven't won a playoff game
Marketing.
over 2 decades.
Yeah. Does Ross
and
want to
they
win?
are one of the richest teams to not be. We haven't done nothing. Haven't hosted a playoff game. Haven't won one. And they are one of the top tier finance teams.
Right.
It's worth $8 billion plus dollars.
No. And that's what it is. That's why he's not going to look at Garfinkel.
He sold 10% at $800 million plus.
I don't
that
blame
means
him.
the team's worth $8 billion.
But I don't blame him. Garfinkel, whatever you say, man. Look what you've done for me.
Oh, no, the guys are good.
I'm like, hey, that's fine. We're relevant. They still talk about Tua. They still talk about Tyreek. We're relevant in the news. We're at 9-10 wins. We have a chance every year. That's as important to them.
No.
Does he want to win? Yeah. Yeah, he probably wants to win. Obviously,
stomach cramps here in 9 wins a year.
I call it the Ferris wheel of mediocrity. You know, and he broke a team just to build it again. He broke that type of team.
Yeah.
But what a beautiful marketing team, and it worked.
Yeah,
because they got the 10%. Because the $800 billion equals
now?
all of the money that Ross has invested into this team. Every dime from the track he built to the stadium he built to the purchase of the team, he is fluid and flush with cash.
Oh,
everything's profit now, baby. It worked. Y'all, we think it didn't work because we ain't won any games. I'm telling you right now, in the office, they're like, great job, everybody. We did it. We did it.
Cap, for our shows, it didn't work, right? Like,
no, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, it didn't work for us, right?
I didn't get nothing.
Yeah, but it worked for them.
HN shirt from my buddy.
They worked. Yeah, they worked for them.
I do want to give fans, Fin fans, some hope because you said 8-9 went. I hate to say it though because it's all about health. If the Dolphins can keep Tua upright. And you lose 2 starters on offense and defense, not 8 or 10, but you lose 2 starters, you lose 4 starters overall for the season, right? At a time, like you don't have multiple stars out at the same time. This team is winning 10 games. They're going to be a double-digit win team, probably win 11. Go to the playoffs. If they win the division, they'll win a playoff game. If they lose the division, they have to play Kansas City, Baltimore.
Ooh, wait a second now. Who's that road team coming into Miami? Not that I don't like it, but that could be CJ Stroud coming in there. That could be.
I ain't worried about no CJ.
I am not worried about
Josh Allen. Bills coming in there.
Josh Allen, I'm worried about.
Josh Allen, yes, but I think the Dolphins can beat them. Look, they
could be Lamar. That could be Burrow.
Lamar. The Ravens is the only team with a good defense and a great run game is the team that I'm scared of.
I gotta be honest. I wish the Dolphins were the Ravens as far as a product of football.
Of course.
If I had a product of football, I wish it was the Ravens defense, the Ravens offense, the Ravens attitude. God, I wish.
They can get their behind punched in the mouth and they're like, we got to rebuild everything.
Cap, you can have the Ravens offense. Give me the front office. Bring it over here.
And
then we'll talk.
However it's done, it doesn't matter.
However the sausage is made, right, bro?
I don't care. Just give me
give me Lamar. Give me Derrick Henry.
I don't care. They don't even have to be those players. Just make it look like that. That would be great. I'll learn those players' names.
This is a great conversation, guys, but I want to change the subject a little bit. Not the subject. We're on the same subject, but I want to change the topic a little bit. Odaris, you said a 10 or 11 winning team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. George, what do you say? How many? I mean, look,
healthy?
Things can change. Things can change, from now until after the draft. It all depends on training camp. We may pick up some more, free agents and all that kind of stuff.
They will.
But I'm talking about
hammering out of the draft, baby.
Yeah, man. So we're being premature. I know we're speculating. How many wins would you say, as you see the team now, how many wins do you think this year for them?
Tua healthy and the team relatively healthy. Like Odie said, a couple injuries. Yeah, I would agree that 10-win mark plus or minus 1 sounds about right to me.
Okay. How about you, Cap? What would you say?
Man, it's tough because I don't believe Tua makes it out alive, bro. I gotta be honest. I
don't either, man.
But if we're working under the
hey, we got chubby Tua though. We got big Tua. We got Tua.
We got beer
Tua's
cake Tua is what we got. But that's the off season. He got time,
bro. So we good. Tua, the thick Tua is back.
He'll be all right. He'll be in shape. He's always gets himself in shape right before training.
It ain't the getting in the shape for me, bro. Yeah. Gotta be. I'm a defensive guy, so I smell blood in the water, bro. I'm ready to. Okay, this guy just needs one, and that's all I gotta hear.
It's either concussion or hip or something.
I don't even have to be a concussion, hip, or not. Just he ain't playing the rest of the day. That's all I care about. He ain't playing no more after this one, at least today. That's all.
Or wrist. Yeah. I don't care if it's his ear. I just want to get him out.
Yeah, I want to.
You're gonna do a Mike Tyson?
I don't care what it is, bro. I don't care.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think he's got it to withstand it. And I don't think he'll ever get it professionally. Now, I could be wrong. Could he come back? Do some ayahuasca and change his whole image? Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. But I would say working under the assumption that he is what he is, but stays healthy. This is a 10-win football team. Yeah. No matter how you slice it. And I would lean closer to 11 because defensively, I believe in Weaver. I like our team. It's funny when we talk about all the defense and we don't even mention Ramsey as much as we really should. The guy's probably going to wear a gold jacket one day. You know what I'm saying?
Good
so very well may. And who knows what he'll have in mind for him after the draft for whatever he has done. I'll tell you what, if they find out that they've got really good pressure in the trenches, Ramsey's gonna play robber and just be that money backer role like you used to see, just roaming around underneath. You don't know if he's playing linebacker. That's it. Yeah, they're gonna play zone with a couple of guys. Maybe somebody somewhere is playing inside man with pushing leverage in underneath. But Ramsey probably gonna look to steal footballs again, and that's something I think we could see. But either way, I know the end is near. But. And then Tua just being any competent quarterback, right? And I don't even want to mention Zach. I don't even want to mention Zach Wilson, but Zach Wilson has traits and incompetency in the scheme with the coach that I know that can design and has an embarrassing amount of riches when it comes to weaponry. It's embarrassing. And when you were talking about Chris Greer and how the guy has put together a squad that would make any quarterback in the NFL blush from all levels, even hitting out of the park with Achane just proves like, yeah, man, we've got all this. But so that alone, competent quarterback play, this is a 10-win football team. But I don't know. We're asking for, if we're going to win 10, 11 wins this year, I need Zach Wilson to win a couple of those.
Seems like we're all in agreement. I think we'll see if he's on the team, a better Tyreek this year too.
Man, I don't know. But here's the thing. I don't know. Have you seen how Mike McDaniel in the media has been hyping Zach Wilson up?
Oh,
is there a change coming?
I know they love him.
Is there a change coming?
His film is so bad. Like he got trained, but just the basic things that a quarterback's supposed to do pre-snap.
He beat Buffalo. He beat Buffalo.
Yeah, but it's all fast and loose, bro. Yeah. It's all fast and loose. I will say this, he's got the arm strength and athletic ability to win football games in the NFL off of that. If Mike McDaniel can say, hey, you're going to stay here, and these offensive linemen are going to go like that, and I want you to throw when this clock goes off in your head because Tyreek going to open up inside this window. And if he can make those things happen and get them along, he would be a really dangerous quarterback. But to do it in short order, nah.
Well, I know the coaching tree is a big fan of the Shanahan tree. Is a big fan of Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
so.
Robert Saleh got him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
And let's hope maybe he was that Jets bad luck, man. Everybody who leaves the Jets, Darnold. You know,
now
that gives me some hope, man. And
George, this is funny because there is a parallel here. Jets quarterbacks leaving the Jets, having successes, and
Gino,
Sam,
yeah,
first round guys. Like to bet on, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get Zach Wilson to be something he's never been. The guy is a 1-3 quarterback. He's won 12 games, lost 21. That is a terrible plus and minus. But then when you couple it with the handicapping that, well, he was a Jets drafted quarterback, you might get a 50-50 here. You see what I'm saying? Like, we can, when you're playing the odds, when you're crunching the numbers, George.
Yeah. No, I think that, look, I said it on my show and I said it on other shows I've been on. Like, what did you want from the quarterback position this offseason? There was a bunch of same guys. At least you get a guy with some talent, some ability, some arm talent that let's see if this guy can develop him. And they're looking at quarterbacks in the draft. I think they'll take one maybe around 5 or 6 or even higher. Nothing in the top 100, but they'll take somebody maybe a third quarterback, kind of address that position. So we'll see. We'll see.
What if Sanders drops to 13? You think we'd get him?
I would get him and trade him.
I wouldn't.
I know. I'm not getting him to keep him. I'm getting him to trade him. I'm
not a big fan. Not a big fan of his.
I'm right there with you. I hope he's there at 13 because who wants to come and get him? Who's not trading draft picks?
Yeah, I thought you meant if you would draft him at 13, I wouldn't. I mean, for the Dolphins. I even knew
what OB said. I might do that. I got him now. Now what? Who wants to? I'm willing to wheel and deal.
The coordinator, you gonna play a few games.
No, he fits this. Out of all the quarterbacks, he fits it to a T. Yeah.
And he fits the scheme. He gonna look good.
Yeah.
Have so rookie in one game, and then Tua come back, and then in the offseason that following year, like, hey.
Hey, I know one thing, Cap. There'll be some fun shows though for us. Right?
Oh my God, man! Listen,
there'll be a lot of content there.
Just on the
that week will write itself, bro. That month,
God, it'll be
months.
The community will be ablaze, and that's how I like it. On fire.
I like it. That's how I like it too.
Makes me feel at home.
Same here. So I this is how I feel before we end the show tonight because. Time is not permitting. I gotta get out of here soon. But I really appreciate you guys for joining me tonight. But here, before I even cut the show off, I think last year with a healthy Tua, I said even before the season started, I said they would go. Their ceiling was 10-7, but I even said this on Ace Per Head show. I said, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go 8-9. And what'd they do? They won 8-9. So this year, I'm going to say the same thing. I really don't think – I think they made some improvements, some upgrades in some areas by adding Westbrook. If Jalen Daniels is it not Jalen? What's his name?
I wish we had
James Daniels. Yeah, James Daniels. If he can stay healthy, I think
Daniels?
he'll get – no, not Jack Daniels.
We need a lot of that.
We might need a lot of that at the end of the season. But I think if he can stay healthy, I think the line will see some improvement. I don't want to. I just can't believe that Liam Eichenberg is going to be the starter. I don't. I just don't. I can't believe it. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out.
Bring him home.
Yeah, we'll see how that pans out.
What's crazy? Think about the safety position. I know we brought in players that people don't know, but what kind of? If you think back to the play we got from that position last year, it was really bad.
It was poor. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, are these guys who are hungry and very athletic? Can they
get any worse?
Yeah. If we get a little bit of worse there, okay, we might be cooking with some gasoline right now, especially with Chubb and please come back healthy, Phillips and For sure. Yeah, but I think 10-7, and that's with a healthy Tua. And again, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they go 8-9, only because I'm going by history. I know we're going to get some injuries. Hopefully, they're not impactful injuries, and I hope Tua stays healthy. I mean, look, I may talk a lot of crap about Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think he's going to get us over the hump. I don't think we can win a Super Bowl with him. But look, the guy is a very, very good quarterback, and he plays at an elite level at times. He really does. So
what he does pretty good.
He does very good.
He's what I call a floor raiser. He's a floor raiser. He raises your floor.
Sure.
More. Maybe the ceiling is not where you want it to be, but he raises the floor tremendously for the team.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I would say.
But guys,
deep trouble.
I want to thank you again for joining tonight. El Capitan, where can they find you, brother?
The Fins Tailgate on YouTube, man. I'm out in these streets. Look out. We real gremlins over there, so be careful. Appreciate you guys having me through, Steve. OD, it was nice meeting you, man. It was awesome. George, tell Sarney I said what's up, man. He's the homie, dog. Tell Sarney tell Sarney I miss him, bro. I don't get to see him as much anymore.
He's a good dude, man. I love the stuff me and him doing, man.
Bro, I like Sarney when he gets worked up. It's fun. He's a good guy, man. He gets too worked up, but I love him. So, all right, yeah.
So, El Capitan, you got any conspiracy theories before we shut off?
No, not right off the top of my head. Not right off the top of my head, but there is at the Fins Tailgate, we'll be doing a complete breakdown of the Miami Dolphins cabal that is taking over. They've been in control for quite some time now of what's been going on. These globalists have now, they're only for profit. They're not for wins, and they've completely infested, and they've got, propaganda out here in these streets with some of these fans that are just chirping at it. And, I don't know, buddy. Well, let me work the bit, and I'll get a good one for you. It'll be fun.
All right. So. Sounds great. George, where can everybody find you, brother?
Yeah, man. We Kat mentioned, the Fins Faithful podcast. We got a new show this offseason. We call it the On Season with myself and Jason Sarney. Tomorrow we got Dougley, who anybody know the community who Dougley Do Wrong is. We're going to be getting his opinions on everything that happened with Campbell. And then we're going to have a live mock draft using the simulator, 7-rounder. Those were fun. Jason and I did one a few weeks ago. And then tomorrow's at 7 p.m. Then Thursday is 8 p.m. Eastern. We're breaking down the wide receiver position. So come on over, check us out at the Fins Faithful podcast. And appreciate you, Steve. You're a friend of the program. I had Steve on many times, and thanks for having me. It was fun. Cap, as always. We gotta collab again. And OD, nice to meet you, man. You're real knowledgeable. I respect the knowledge you bring from a player's perspective.
Keeping us respectable. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Keeping us casuals.
Making us look good, right, Cap?
Sure. Hey, thanks a lot. Yeah, we do. Thanks a lot, OD. Odaris. I appreciate you for joining. Yeah, I appreciate you for joining. And I know you don't have a podcast or a show or anything, but you need to start one, man. Maybe we can get you to start one, man. Maybe on the Fins Talk Sports Network, because I really appreciate your knowledge. You bring a lot to the table, and definitely going to have you on again, brother. Really am. Good. So appreciate it, and appreciate everybody in the chat that joined tonight. Make sure you hit that like button before you check out, and also hit that bell down there if you're new to the channel. And appreciate you. Now next week I will have a show at 7:30 Eastern time. It's going to be Tuesday Therapy next week. Next week's show. That means anybody that's in the chat or whatever can join the show. We'll put you in the panel. We'll get your voice up here, expressing your feelings and thoughts and everything on this Miami Dolphins football team for the upcoming year, and what you think about the draft and free agents and all that good stuff. So with that said, remember, Dolphins #1, baby! Dolphins #1! Hey guys.